Let's have a look at some of the highest and lowest speeding fines around the world. Now, this data has actually been correlated by an Australian company, Kindly, comparing all of the speeding fine data around the world. Now, a lot of countries such as Europe actually base their speeding fines on the person's income. So this data has been averaged out using mean national income. Now, when I talk money, I'm going to talk all in dollars just to keep it simple across the world. And then final tip, whatever you do, when you go to Europe, do not speed. So some countries are so big, such as Australia and USA, where they actually have different speeding fines depending on what state you're actually in. For instance, you can go to New South Wales in Australia, find yourself 45 minutes over the limit, which I will admit is quite a lot, but you can get yourself a cheeky fine of $1,700. Not something to be sniffed at. However, you can then move across to Victoria, closer to Melbourne, where you could do the exact same 45 over the limit and only get yourself a fine of $600. Interesting. What's the worst state in North America to speed in? So there is one state in North America where you can be fined anywhere between $250 and $2,000. This sounds expensive. However, if you want to head yourself down to South America, to the lovely Argentina, you can be fined up to $3,716. That's an expensive day out. If you really want to take the road trip, you need to move across to one of the neighboring countries, such as Paraguay, where your fine could consist of around 10 cents. Even better than this, you can actually go to Sudan, where there has been fines recorded as little as $0.09. That's right, just 9 cents for a speeding fine. As you can tell, there is quite a bit of variation across the world. However, let's have a look at some of the highest speeding fines in the entire world and see where they come up. So surprisingly, the top 10 speeding fines in the world are all based in Europe. This is likely because Europe bases the speeding fines on the person's income. So of the highest speeding fines in the world, the top 3 actually occurred in Switzerland. Finland, however, racked up a huge number of these speeding fines, while Belgium and the UK only managed to get one of these speeding fines in the top 10 each. Now, the biggest beast of a speeding fine ever recorded actually went to a Swedish guy in his nice AMG SLS, where he was caught going 180 miles per hour. Oh dear. Now, this guy had to pay a cheeky $1 million. That is an expensive day out. The second largest fine again went to Switzerland with a guy in his Ferrari Testarossa. Don't know if I pronounced that right, but you know what I mean. Where he was actually doing 85 miles per hour in a 52 zone, not a good idea. And he racked up a nice whopping $327,000 fine himself. Again, not a good day out. Now, the one fine that really blew my mind, okay, wasn't in the top 3, wasn't even in the top 5. It was number 6. Okay, and the reason this blew my mind, so first of all, this person was fined around $141,000. So it's a fairly big fine, not as big as the ones we've already talked about, but fairly big. What really cracked my pot, so to speak, was the fact they were caught at 32 miles per hour. Now, again, this was in Finland, where there does seem to be quite a huge number of the top fines. If you want my advice, whatever you do, if you go to Finland, do not get the need to speed.